Hi, welcome back to Storytime with Dave Booker. Today we're going to continue on with gods and more gods, and let's make sure where we were. We had just done the Earth, so this is training continues. Training was moved from the gym to the classroom. On the board was a listing of the curriculum for the next session. Week 1, creation and maintenance, life process, balance of forces. Week 2, ethics and morality. Consequences of actions, moral, philosophy, empathy, development. Week 3, mastering power, control, precision, cause and effect, limitations, when not to intervene. Week 4 was communications and relationship building, interaction with mortals, diplomacy against deities, amongst deities, symbols and rituals, volleyball and yoga after class. Week 5, cultural awareness, beliefs and adapting to changing philosophies. Week 6, conflict resolution, mediation skills, war and peace. And week 7, self-reflection and growth of people. Understanding personal identity, growth, and evolution. Week 8, humility and patience, dealing with adulation, learning from failure, forgiveness. And week 9, graduation and celebration. Don was standing at the board, scoffing at the list. We've been humans in our past lives. We've experienced all these concepts before, so why the heck do we have to learn about them now? This is a waste of time. I'm heading out. As he approached the door, his way was blocked by Hercules' vast bulk. Going somewhere? He inquired. Don pointed at the board. This is BS. We got better uses for our time than hashing out things we've already experienced. Don was unceremoniously picked up by the scruff of his neck and thrown into a seat. Sitting at the edge of his desk, Hercules worked to calm himself down. Don was becoming a real pain in the ass, and Hercules was considering sending him back to rejoin his fellow spirits. Don, and this goes for the rest of you also, you don't seem to understand something. You aren't people anymore. You've got to stop thinking like people. You're gods. Gods see things from a perspective you never even considered. Even if you were a manager of the largest business on earth and had thousands of people working for you, still doesn't qualify you for the range of issues you're going to encounter. We're going to broaden your limited perceptions into the vast, unlimited prospects that come from being a god. Don sat looking as if he were paying attention, but his thoughts were elsewhere. He had reread Dealing with Adulation and was fixated on the adulation portion. To have people that he created giving him the veneration he had always wanted was dizzying. Granted, Ash had always toadied up to him, and by a little POS that he was, Don always felt a warm glow from it. Ash was having daydreams of his own. A god with plenty of people at his command, people to do whatever he wanted, to live and die at his say-so. And to him, people were insignificant underlings, worth only in what they could provide him. He would send out missionaries to bring more people to him, and then he would become the master god. A mental picture of the other gods bent over worshiping him brought a smile to his lips. He gave a swift glance above his head to ensure there wasn't a thought bubble getting his daydream away. The others were paying attention as Hercules lectured on the creation of life and infusing souls from the holding facility into those they created. Once the baseline level of humans was reached, then the souls would be placed in the next generation automatically, based on a first serve, first in, first out basis. Remember that all humans are given free will so that you can develop harmony despite human tendency toward self-service and an aggressive nature. Hygeia interrupted. One important thing to remember is they have to do most things on their own. No giving them a head start by creating everything for them. On the first group, you will have to live with them as one of them. Be their leader and teach them to survive. Once they have learned to do that and to be able to continue surviving, you can begin being a god. Explain that you don't eat as they do, but live on reverence. As gods, you will be able to live without it, but it's what charges your batteries and allows you to do more. The more reverence, the more power. Hercules added his 2 cents. You can't force reverence. Prayers received through fear are minimally useful. Yes, you'll feel something, but it won't be beneficial. And so the lectures continued day by day with Hercules and Hygeia alternating the lessons until graduation day, when they were presented with full godhood and were given the prestige and prerogatives that went with the position. Fred came to personally congratulate them and inform them that the graduation ceremony had been transmitted throughout the facility so that others would know that several of their own kind had made good. Fred took his new crew on a tour of inspection of their protectorate. With a pleased smile, he was showing off the pride, the numerous continents, the variety of flora and fauna, the diversity of environments, and the lofty home on the highest mountain for their comfort. Seated at a round table in the hall of meeting, he gave them their instructions. The world you govern is prepared and will evolve. Don't worry about the terra firma or the waterways unless there's a very definite need. Focus on your people and guiding them. Get them on the proper track towards becoming intelligent, fair, caring individuals. Remember, the soul controls the person, and there will be those who want chaos, who desire the pain and suffering of others. Be the strength for those who oppose these despots. Only intercede when called on. Do not grant all wishes if those are not in the best interest of the prayers. Be consistent and don't get overwhelmed by reverence. Remember always that what you once were, use that knowledge to understand their condition and proceed with care. Well, that's all I want to say. You have been trained and are now ready. I'm available if you need assistance, but I won't interfere unless absolutely necessary. I don't want you to think I'm peering over your shoulders. Consider yourselves on your own. With a salute and a wave, he vanished. The gods of Earth spent the day deciding if they wanted to work together or each take one of the land masses. By each taking on the land mass, there would be diversity and the possibility of different levels of growth. Once the population was capable of travel, then ideas would intermix and progress would be doubled or even tripled. Their instructions had been to start at the hunter-gatherer stage and allow the people to make progress from there. Fred returned. Fred returned. He had forgotten about the timeline. Fred returned. He had forgotten about the timeline where they would have to have progressed far enough to land a population on the alternate Earth. In their mountain home, he placed a countdown calendar for the conjunction. Taking one last look around, he said with silent hope that everything would turn out right this time. The gods went to their retreat on what Fred had called Mount Promise. There they ate a sumptuous meal, played a game of volleyball, and went to bed. Having divided up the planet, they felt a good night's rest would make them fresh for creating the people they would need. It was determined through mutual agreement that the first group would number at least 500 each. From that, growth would happen at a predictable rate and provisions could be grown in accordance with population increases. All they would need now was time and patience. All right, next reading we'll be doing Larry's Landing, where we start seeing the gods and how they handle each of their own territories. So that's it for today. We'll continue on with gods and more gods in the next reading. And I look forward to seeing you. I appreciate you stopping by. I hope you enjoy these. If you do, kindly leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And so that's it. That's all I got. Be good. Be good to yourself. And take care. Bye.